Alright, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Galaxy Battles Emerging Worlds. Galaxy Battles number 2, the main event. We are finally here. What is surely to be a fun LAN event this weekend, and we are on the secondary stream. But don't let that fool you, because we definitely got 2 best-of-3s coming at you from the first round matchup. Should be a lot of fun. First things first, to kick it all off, our best-of-3. To do so, we have Infamous going to be taking on VGJ.Thunder. Of course, 2 of the 8 teams in total that are here at this LAN competing for a $500,000 prize pool. Still can't believe saying that. That's just a lot of freaking money on the line, man. So excited to be here for these. We're going to have a couple of best-of-3s here on the stream, of course. First, on top of that, by the way, let me introduce myself. I'm a co-caster. I'm BreakyCPK, and I'm going to be joined by TraLF as my co-caster. He'll be with us in just a minute here. Had to go take care of something at the last second. But we have the draft underway, so we wanted to obviously get things going and start talking about what we see. But before that even, because this is the first game here of what's, again, 2 best-of-3s in this tournament now kicking off, there is the main stream going on, twitch.tv/BeyondTheSummit. Of course, they're currently casting the TNC versus Team Spirit match, and then later on, they'll have Evil Geniuses versus PG Barrack X, the wildcard team from Indonesia. That should be fun. But on this stream here, we're going to be casting Infamous versus VGJ.Thunder, of course, out of China. And then the following matchup will be OG versus Pain Gaming. All best-of-3s in first round. And what is really a double elimination tournament. So, again, just to get the elephant out of the room off the bat, yes, this tournament had a little bit of issues going into it. I say a little bit, frankly, a lot of issues. Was a major, was 16 teams. All that got pulled away. Down to 8 teams. The Valve, rescinding their support of the event, unfortunately, for whatever reason. But there is still an event, and we still got a solid group of teams competing, again, in a double elimination format for, as I said, what is said to be $500,000 prize pool once again. So still a pretty big deal, and should be some entertaining Dota. Anyways, enough of the rambling. We got a draft to talk about now, finally. What was the first pick here? We had an OmniKnight first pick coming out for VGJ.Thunder. OmniKnight just in general, across all regions, especially China. I've gotten the chance to cast China region quite a bit recently, and this hero is no doubt top tier, specifically in there. So not surprised to see VGJ.Thunder picking it up for themselves. The fairly quick response of a Shadow Demon and then a Tiny, though, from Infamous. Of course, Shadow Demon, solid against an OmniKnight. Does bring the Purge to the table to help things out. And then, of course, Tiny, obviously just a solid core for that position 1. You most likely expect to see it, although we have seen some different stuff happening, such as a position 3 even. So, who knows? Who knows what we're going to expect to see with Infamous when they come to running it. But if I had to put money on it, I would definitely say position 1. Sand King going to be the third pick. Again, either that roaming or even the offlane himself. But this is already looking like a very fast team right now by Infamous. One that's not going to be afraid to run at you and take over the early game, looking to roam pretty aggressively at the earlier points in the game. So, on the other side, though, OmniKnight Earth Spirit to start things off for them. Now thinking about their third pick, neither 5 support. Disruptor's always one that comes to mind. I'm checking real quickly now if he's not banned. Doesn't look like he is. He would have to be one off the bat, pretty good against those initiations from, say, the Tiny, especially if he gets in there. A glimpse back, pretty solid. Static Storm, always going to be a great teamfight ability in itself. Does bring the Thunderstrike harassment in the laning phase. Kinetic Field, great CC. You know how the hero works, as I just explained, if you didn't for whatever reason. Anyways, he's a strong one. What other position 5 heroes has a Rubik? Rubik seems like it could be okay this game, actually. Burrow Strike, definitely a strong ability to steal, and not too shabby to have here against this lineup. But actually, you know what I should have done? I should have been a little more prepared with the Dota buff here before we started the cast to see what VGJ.Thunder's been running recently. They've been a hot team recently, by the way, out of the China region, and they're going to go with Witch Doctor. Speaking of their position 5 hero. They've had a lot. China's always kind of been like that. It's somewhat chaotic, where one team does very well for like a couple of months, it feels like, then they start to fall a little bit, and then another team just steps up. It's kind of goes in cycles. But right now, it's VGJ.Thunder and VG Gaming. They're the 2 really strong teams right now, I would say, out of China. Hell, even the new LGD squad's been looking pretty good, though. You got Newbie, of course, always looking solid themselves with their consistent roster and the returning second-place finishers at TI7. So China continues to be a very, very difficult region, no doubt, with teams stepping up. But VGJ.Thunder, the most recent one, I feel like, that really has kind of crept up, and maybe to some people's surprise, but overall a solid roster, and we'll see again how they perform here against Infamous. Beastmaster, going to be that fourth pick for the squad. One of the two teams from South America here at this event. You know, being an 8-team tournament, it is pretty odd having two teams, frankly, from the South American region. Again, it goes back to initially Infamous was actually invited when it was a 16-team tournament, so they got an invite spot, and then Pain Gaming actually had to qualify through the South American qualifiers eventually to get to the tournament itself. And both teams did decide to commit to going after all the stuff went down, so that's why we have two South American teams here in this main event. But kind of just a side note there. But anyways, yeah, Beastmaster gives us way more information now. It's going to be a 4 Sand King, a 1 Tiny, and obviously the 5 Shadow Demon, but it just continues again the trend of we just want to run at you. Obviously, Beastmaster's Primal War is great against Omni Knight's Repel, aka it's not affected by it, so something else to take advantage of here. Dragon Knight, going to be the 4th pick. Meanwhile, for VGJ.Thunder, you would lean towards the mid option, although, you know what, I did cast VGJ.Thunder, what was it for? As a qualifier. Which qualifier was that? I want to say it was Starladder? Yeah, I think it was a Starladder minor qualifier here like a week and a half ago. I believe they ran Safe Lane Dragon Knight a couple times, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a possibility. Not going to suggest that we're going to see that necessarily, but we can look out for that. Sylar would be the one to do so, being their core player, their position 1 player even, of course. So Infamous, in fact, Infamous bans OD, so yeah, they do suspect that possibly coming out from VGJ.Thunder. So it's safe to say, you know, when so much money's on the line, an 8-team tournament, obviously Infamous going into this very prepared, as I'm sure all the teams are, doing their research, and perhaps did notice that recently. So, hey, I could be a coach, man. Picking up on that stuff. All right, the final ban, though, for VGJ.Thunder. Not the most time left. They're going to be on out Tinker. And now, again, do they go a mid, or do they just go a safe lane now? Because obviously Dragon Knight mid could work just fine, although they don't know who they're matched up against yet. That's the advantage of picking last, of course, if you're Infamous here, with what they could go. So, more popular mid heroes, Queen of Pain is still there if they feel like any more magic. I feel like they want a hero that can fit the tempo of the Dragon Knight, though. Maybe not necessarily a drum builder, but one that can push objectives around him with the Elder Dragon form. You got the Omni Knight support, of course. This definitely feels like a team that they want to just sit together and push. Death Prophet would kind of fit that trend. Phantom Lancer. So it's actually going to be a mid Dragon Knight, which is more of the usual right here. So mid Dragon Knight and then the safe lane Phantom Lancer. I guess depending on the matchup, they could swap that around, but I would expect Sylar is going to play the Phantom Lancer
10 seconds
instead.
remaining.
But so why do they like the Phantom Lancer so much? The Infamous, they do have a nice mix of illusion clear, but also single target burst. So I don't think it's necessarily for that reason. It's not like they were lacking the AoE clear necessarily. Phantom Lancer is just a core option right now in the meta that is considered very strong. So simply put, could just be looking at it from that perspective as to why they chose the Phantom Lancer in the end. So we'll have to see how that works for VGJ.Thunder here. But now Infamous, thinking about their final pick. What's still on the board? Shadow Fiend is still there. Maybe could fit the pace of this lineup pretty well. Razor. Yeah, I feel like Razor could be okay, actually. It's maybe not the greatest against Phantom Lancer, but decent against DK. And
Timbersaw. Choose your hero.
Timbersaw. Oh, look at that. Yo.
Breaky, you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, actually.
Oh, sorry about that. Just annoying bloody nose that came literally at the worst possible time, and I haven't had one for years.
Yeah. Dude, I was yeah, talking to you right as we're about to go live, and just you mentioned that, and yeah, I definitely get them every now and then, so Understand. Well, welcome back. Hopefully you're good now. I don't know if you're listening at all during the draft or watching it, really. Obviously, you're probably focusing on other things.
A little bit.
Okay. Understandable.
Stuffing tissues in my nose, but I tried to listen a little bit.
Right on. Yeah, my analysis maybe not the prettiest at times, but thank God you're here now, though, for us. So, yeah, as mentioned, it wasn't going to be a solo cast, guys. TraLF indeed is joining me now to make this a dual cast. But yeah, they last picked the Timbersaw. I can't say I saw that one coming from Infamous.
Was it very last pick? Because it's thought of as a good hero against PL.
Okay, that's actually a good point. Yeah, it was the very last pick. I guess he's okay against DK as well. So you know what? You convinced me. So
yeah, I guess it is good against DK too, but it's mainly for this PL. Yeah, the illusions with Fusel can be annoying, but you can usually just cut right through them with all your pure damage, nukes, and chakrams and what have you. So
yeah. Well, game number 1 here. Obviously, going into this, I mean, whether it's fair or not, I definitely lean towards VGJ.Thunder as being the favorite team. Frankly, the South American region and these international events haven't necessarily, done the best, is safe to say. But obviously, Infamous is a good team, and by all means, they can compete, force a game 3, even take the series. But yeah, leaning towards VGJ.Thunder going into it. But now you see the drafts, however. Do you like either draft either way? Do you think there's a clear advantage or what?
It's hard for me to say right off the get-go. Usually I wasn't watching the entirety, so I haven't really been able to digest all this and kind of, think about it too much. I don't really see a super hard carry on the side of Infamous. Like, yeah, they have Tiny, but it's not your traditional, hard carry. There's a little bit of action here coming in the bottom lane. Skullfield trying to body block, give time for Masoku to give the banish out there, but it looks like Ying will be fine for the time being.
No, he has Dragonite coming over to support, so he's fine, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Some clear lane swapping coming out from VGJ.Thunder. Nope, just stood there to harass, so. But yeah, still 20 seconds remaining before the bounty rune's going to spawn. But yeah, no, that is a fair point about the Radiant side not having necessarily. I mean, again, they have a Tiny, but I guess it's almost safe to say that this is a team that would like to win pretty early. Like, you gauge around the 30-minute mark or so with this line of, wow, they are going in, by the way. Shadow Demon, he's dropping low. Great Burrow Strike, though, on both heroes. Yang, he's the one getting low himself, and the first blood will indeed be in favor of Infamous, actually. So the stun potential is real between the Burrow Strike and the Tiny Avalanche, and they're going to go for another. Dragonite, he obviously doesn't have his Dragon Blood just yet, so not nearly as tanky as he's used to being. Earthspear going to go back in onto the Shadow Demon, though. There's the Purification Heal, and the Dragon Flame will finish the job. So ends up being a 1-for-1, but First Blood, Infamous, they strike first.
They got a little too over-aggressive there at the end. They were trying to do as much damage to DK as they could, and they were buying some time for him to be slowed down when it comes to this mid lane, but they weren't killing him, and in fact, actually fired, it turned back on them because DK got a last hit on the kill, so he's walking to the mid lane with an extra kill under his belt, so actually backfired.
Not too shabby. Now he's going to meet up against the Timbersaw here in that middle lane. Earthspear, what is this about? Oh, he's doing a pull.
Doing a pull, trying to get that lane back, yeah. I don't know if there's going to be any kind of kill happening here, but who knows? I mean, Schofield's definitely trying to do something here. He's got stun in 1 second. But
he's going deep, yeah, man.
Still just going for it. I wanted to talk about Beastmaster. I've been seeing this trend of Beastmasters just maxing out their axes, like not even getting Call of the Wild. And I gotta say, I'm not a fan of it. Okay. I just think having the level 3 boar is just really, really strong. But we'll see. He's up against an Illusion hero. Obviously, Illusion's not that big of a deal until he hits level 6, so it won't really matter that much in lane. But actually, as we're speaking, Stinger's taking some damage from AO here, and yeah, he's getting him pretty low here. Actually has very little regen, only one more tree left to eat.
Yeah, so he's going to have to be careful with that. He does have a wand, or the magic stick more so, queued up to help with that idea. But yeah, so the wild axes, I mean, we'll see if he indeed goes for that, but with what you're suggesting. It's kind of funny you mention that because now thinking about it, I casted a lot of China and CIS region this last week, all the qualifiers going on. I did not see a Beastmaster in any of the games, actually. So, again, it's just NA region, SA, perhaps, obviously more prevalent there for sure, but some regions just don't even play the hero at all, it seems like. So, different throughout.
Yeah, and yeah, it's been picked up a little bit in pubs, and One thing I will say about the South American region is that they like to pick a lot what's popular in the pub meta. Like, that they stick to that. So if they're comfortable playing it in pubs, they're probably going to be comfortable playing it in matches as well.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've seen a lot of Beastmasters just max their axes and not even get a point in Call of the Wild. And right now, he's level 3. He's not getting a single point in Call of the Wild. So not a big fan of this, but we'll see if he can make something happen with it.
That is interesting because actually, he's getting low right here, and sure enough, he will go down. So I don't know if Call of the Wild is going to save him necessarily at that point. That was just a massive dive. Even Phantom Lancer getting in there at that point. But so sticking on that topic before we move on here, what's the obvious advantage is that it's more kill potential, I guess, but it takes away from your objective. You know, when we see Beastmasters, even like an early Necronomicon, you push towers so quickly, and it feels like that would fit very well with this lineup, but instead he's going for more kill focused.
I could not tell you, Breaky. Like, I'm not a big fan of it at all.
Okay.
Especially with the fact that when you're level 7 and you have level 4 Call of the Wild, like, you get a friggin' free creep.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know why that's in the game, but, you know, you have that opportunity. And to forego that and go for something else, it doesn't really scale that well. I mean, it's already a kind of a one-hit wonder spell. Like, it's already does quite a lot at just one point of it, so I don't know. But he's level 4 now. We'll see if he goes for an Inner Beast or a 1 point in Call of the Wild, but either way, it's going to take a long time to get that leveled up to max. He does go 1 point in that. Taking some damage, not quite enough to actually tick down with the Maledict because it's only level 1. But,
Yeah. No, he's
level
good.
4 at minute 4 is actually not too bad. So.
Yeah, considering he died on top of that, I mean, this might be a blessing in disguise. Obviously, you don't want to die, but it did get him full life, full mana, and he's able to come back and, you know, continue to be useful in the lane. But yeah, level 4 not doing too shabby. Middle lane, obviously DK did get here a little late. Granted, he got that kill earlier on, basically at the beginning of the game. But both sides do have their soul rings. You know, this is a beefy versus beefy matchup here of the Timbersaw versus the DK. Don't think we're going to be seeing any kills necessarily, unless, I mean, Air Spirit gets in, but Timbersaw, he actually doesn't have Timber Chain yet, but he has level 3 reactive armor. I mean, they're not killing him here.
He won't be dying anytime soon. I could possibly see a kill on the DK when Timbersaw hits 6, which is actually after this creep wave. But I think he's going to need some help. He's going to need the Sand King to rotate over, or maybe the Shadow Demon, or maybe both. But he could set up a kill. Might just start harassing with Chakram now. As Yang gets caught out here as he's trying to disrupt this pull. And that's going to be level 3 for Schofield and the Sand King, so off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, I kind of went away from that to go back to mid as you were discussing it, because I saw him walking over there, but I was like, oh, no, he's not going to go all the way in there, is he? And sure enough, I guess he's stuck around a little bit too long. And does he have repel yet? He doesn't. So
they're going with the smoke on mid. This is perfect timing. I said they need some supports, and this should be an easy kill with a setup stun from Schofield. Actually going to set up with the disruption.
Even easier. Burrow Strike, he's holding it. Finally, we'll use it. Chakram comes out. Nice boulder smash through to help. Sylar's pretty tanky. 3 levels of that poison stack. He's trying to hero block him. Out comes another Q from the Timbersaw, the Whirling Death, and there's another Chakram to indeed do him in. Meanwhile, Stinger goes out at the top lane on the Beastmaster, but yeah, it took a little bit of time there with Earth Spirit being nearby, but they finally got it.
Pepita didn't cast his Chakram while he was disruption. It's pretty unbelievable that you're the one that gets stunned from the guy that's being put under. So a little bit of a misplay there. It made him work for a little bit, but they still get the kill nonetheless. But yeah, in the meantime, old Stinger dying again. And not really. I mean, he had good levels at first, but really kind of stalled now.
Yeah,
for the time being.
He's tapered off somewhat. He's not doing much against the Phantom Lancer to keep him from farming, that's for sure. He's 41-7 right now, up there in net worth early on in the game, of course, and even putting some damage onto the tower. But as we say this, he got the rotation. Shadow Demon and Sand King, they are up here. Going to try to be sneaky with a kill, but there is this ward that even if they get close, they're going to be seen. So, yeah, no secret that they are up there looking for a kill. So they're going to play defensive meanwhile. Tiny, though, he is having free farm bottom lane on the other side. And he's almost 4,000 net worth. He's going to go the Shadow Blade with his first item pick. How do you feel about these new Tinies, man? It still feels weird to me that we don't see the whole Blink Daggers anymore on a lot of
I still see them sometimes.
Not like we used to.
Not like we used to, but I mean, he has a totally different spell now, so they're trying to make it work with that. Some action up top, disruption, defensive disruption. He's got level 3 axes now, so it's going to do some damage.
Is it enough?
Is it enough? It does not look like it just yet. They spot out the real one, though. Here comes Timbersaw, and yeah, he will be falling. Maybe he can get a double stun here. Oh, he just goes for the one.
Yeah.
So just gonna settle for this kill on Kama, I'm not sure.
Oh, wow. Timbersaul's going deep. He really wants this going. Witch Doctor still, but not going to be enough. Witch Doctor TP's out, and he's good to go. Yeah, only level 2 Burrow Strike, so not the greatest range. I don't know if that was holding him back, but simply put, playing it safe. And in the end, they get the one important kill, though. That's what really matters. Meanwhile, middle lane, though, Dragonite Saddler, he's doing a great job. He sees that, obviously, Timbersaul's missing. He's going to put a lot of pressure on that mid tower with the Elder Dragon form. In fact, Sand King, oh, great Boulder Smash. Dragon Tail stun hits as he Burrow Strikes away, and that should do him in. Yeah, Saddle the poison will take him down. Well played right there from VGJ.Thunder.
Yeah, that's the problem playing against Dragonite. If you leave him alone and go ganking as a mid, and you open up a lot of damage to be had in your tower, and it's actually almost a dead tier 1 tower. And it's not like Timbersaw didn't really get anything, like they got a kill. He actually took a triple stack, where Kama's farming right now. There used to be a triple stack, so tons of good farm, but losing that mid tower is pretty big, and shoot, I missed a kill, but that's a big one too, as you're free farming Tiny now falls, so
yeah,
his timing there for the Shadow Blade's going to be slowed down just a little bit.
Yeah, I was watching it the whole time, really. I mean, he was just pushing the bottom tower, you see how low it is, and Witch Doctor kind of flanked in, and Earth Spirit eventually joined, and he just obviously has no support himself, so they eventually get the kill. So yeah, well played there from the VGJ.Thunder. As again, to clarify, guys, this is Thunder, the team from China, not Storm. That's why BSJ, he's not on the team. He didn't get kicked. And so I feel like I have to bring that up every time I cast this team. Anyways, running in the middle lane. Primal Roar, it's going to be canceled, actually. Great silence initially from Fade right there, and that keeps him away. Meanwhile, elsewhere, bottom lane, that's a kill on Witch Doctor, apparently.
That's a solo kill with an Omni nearby. So must have just comboed down with some really nice damage onto him.
Back to the mid, though.
Oh,
they want this kill. The Primal Roar was used. It's not enough, however. The diving past the tier 1 to do this, and Stinger almost died to the tower, actually. Thankfully, the aggro went off of him at the last second. Quite the dive, but nobody dying in the middle lane, at least. So, yeah, Omni Knight wasn't able to help the Witch Doctor. I don't know if he was paying attention middle or just wasn't close enough or what, but...
Yeah, if you can combo with your stun tower. Gets the tower, actually. They stun him out. Some decent damage, but I don't think it's going to be enough, actually.
Doesn't feel like
Spade's
it.
only level 4, although they're chasing him. He's got an 8 stick. He's going to be close. Another stun in 2 seconds. Actually, I think they're going to get this.
Yep. Oh, he got caught on intelligence treads as well. Not that it really matters, but was doing some swapping, being efficient. Unfortunately, does go down, though, as they chase him. So he dies a second time. I mean, even with that second death, though, he's still 5,600 net worth. He is still leading the way by actually a pretty comfortable lead. So that Shadow Blade is coming online, and in fact, he has it. And we're going to see more kill attempts, I'm sure, as a result. Infamous is not stopping anytime soon with this pace of the game here.
If he connects with this kill on the PL, it's going to be huge for him. If he doesn't, at best they get a tower top, then they're also going to pressure him bottom. Speaking of bottom, Schofield dies. This is going to be a lost tower bottom because Tiny will not want to come bottom. Wait, I keep thinking Tiny was yellow. Never mind. He comes top anyway. He TP's up right now. This is going to be perfect bait. Gets the roar out, actually onto the real one. Misses the toss, but I don't think it's going to matter. That is a very greedy TP. Yeah, there's no way he's getting out of that one.
And it goes without saying, I guess, but just to make the point clear, that means now it's going to be on cooldown when he does resurrect. Granted, it's 20 seconds before he's even up, but yeah, he'll have to walk somewhere to pick up his farm again. So yeah, there was really no way he was getting out, and just kind of panicked instead.
That's the word I was looking for. Very optimistic TP.
There you go.
Not a chance, but they did lose the bottom tower. So DK moving around nicely. Is this the same Sylar from like VG Gaming 2014? Do you know?
I believe so. The one that Toby calls, Sylar. Yeah, I believe it is.
Sure. Yeah. So he was always the Lycan player, if I remember correctly. Anyway, good movement from him. Takes some towers. He's going for a Shadow Blade himself, and he actually nearly has it. So Shadow Blade's a piece here for Tiny and Dragon Knight.
Okay, so yeah, DK going the Shadow Blade as well. Interesting. First item, Shadow Blade. He has a couple of choices usually, like the Armlet, comes to mind, of course. He does have the Shadow Blade finished, but even a Blink, drums on top of that. But what do you think of the Shadow Blade?
I think whenever you can get it quickly, Shadow Blade's just a better item than Blink in most situations. If you get it fast.
Yeah.
If you're struggling with farm, then I think Blink is a bit cheaper, and you can you can initiate a bit quicker. But because he's farming so well, same thing with Tiny. Like if you're getting slower
Radiant's
farm, then
middle
Blink
tower
usually
is
is
under attack.
a better choice. But if you can get the Shadow Blade, it's just generally better because it adds
Radiant's middle
attack
tower
speed
has
and
fallen.
a little bit of damage too.
Yeah. I'm going to restart the call real quickly. You're going to start to get a little robotic here. So let's see if that fixes it. All right, I just want to... Obviously,
Dire's top tower is under
I want to make
attack.
sure that we're good there. Hello.
Hello.
All right,
Any
sounds...
better?
Yeah, it sounds a little bit better. There we go. All right, so, yeah, finishing the Shadow Blade on Dragonite. In fact, trying to use it at the top lane. He has the Elder Dragon form. They're going to go for the kill on Beastmaster. Primal Roar's ready. Now comes a Death Ward. That Maledict, it's going to tick him down, I believe. That's a level 3. Oh, he's going to TP. That should be in time. He's good, right? Yeah. He does make it back.
I don't think the Breathe Fire actually connected. I think if it did, I'm not sure. It didn't look like it connected, but I think if it did, he definitely would have killed him there. So it's unfortunate for Scyther, but they're pumping in some damage, some auto attacks onto this tier 1 tower top. It should fall. Skyler wants to get the creeps beforehand. He's going for straight a Silver Edge. Wow, that's been interesting. I guess it's for the Timber Saw here, so they can mitigate this reactive armor. Speaking of Timber Saw, very nicely timed Bloodstone. 13 minutes, pretty good.
Yeah, I saw him building it, but you're right. Wow, he just finished it even. Holy crap. Just before the 14-minute mark. So he's trying to add some more charges to it right away as they head towards the middle lane and see what they can make happen. Omni Knight's here. He doesn't have his Guardian Angel leveled up, though. Is he sitting on a point? 7, 8, 9? I think he is, yeah. So he actually could level it up. Oh, no, we got the talent up. Duh, so... No, he is not. So he will not have Guardian Angel this fight. Even if he wanted it. Yang, he probably wants it here. It's not going to happen though. Great stun through with the Avalanche as a repel at least. However, his teammates are falling around him, but Yang's still alive actually. They couldn't finish him off just with the repel up. The toss though puts in Timber Saw and eventually the repel wears off. And they do indeed get the kill. So a lot of effort right there spent to finally get that kill on Omni Knight, and they're also going to kill the tower, it looks like, on top of it all. So Infamous really has a good pace going. This is exactly the pace that they wanted, it feels like. And we have a very even game as a result.
But they need to keep this up, as we both mentioned. I think it's kind of a weird late game composition with their team. I mean, putting all your eggs in the basket of Tiny is... I don't know if I'm sold, especially when you have a DK that's rushing the Silver Edge, so that reactive armor is not really going to do anything come late stages of the game. So you got to keep this pace up. You can definitely take Roshan when you get some levels on the Inner Beast from Beastmaster. As both cores here are running around each other in Viz.
Oh, he picked up a tree. He came out first. Sylar's going in. Elder Dragon Form. There's a Dragon Tail. Follow up Boulder Smash. Obviously that status resistance. It's helping.
It definitely is.
And he's good. Yeah, that's status resistance, man.
Right there.
It is strong. Timbersaw farming the top lane, though, meanwhile. Obviously has 15 charges now on the Bloodstone and 13 more 100 gold saved up, but Dragonite wants to go back in. Another Shadow Blade, and he's going to open on a Sand King, sure enough, and that should be a kill. As indeed they get it.
Gore coming out. No Omni Knight in sight just yet. He's making his way down there.
Purge from Shadow Demon. Here comes the heal zone from Yang. Again, still no Guardian Angel. He's still level 10, but the repel saving seller for the time being in the back Cleanser Spirit. He's just going to roll on through. The Death Ward is put down. It's killing Illusions, unfortunately. And Beastmaster, he got caught chasing a little bit too much. In fact, they're also going to get the kill onto the Tiny. As you see that Diffusal Blade slow coming out. Now Dragonite's going back in. He's like, remember me? Yes, you do. Shadow Demon, he'll fall. And that's 3 kills in the fight. All they lost was the Witch Doctor. And that was a great response, but that's also Omni Knight for you. This Purification Repel, and that's where the turn can happen. Absolutely. This Omni Knight with these tanky cores is always a very strong composition. And you see that right here. Lots of armor on the Dragonite, some decent HP to kind of bait them into a fight, and then Omni Knight comes in with the Repel and heals and saves the day. And didn't even need to cast Seal. No, he has it now for... when a fight does break out again as he hits 11, but yeah, that was a good save by Yang. And on top of that, obviously Phantom Lancer finally showing up and showing off that Diffusal Blade and on his way to now the Yasha into the eventual Manta. So pretty typical build here on Kama, playing the Phantom Lancer. And he's back to the top lane now. So, but yeah, that Silver Edge, it's just about finished. Wow, he's going to have a very, very quick Silver Edge. As you mentioned, that reactive armor is essentially going to be taken away from Timbersaw, and he's not nearly as tanky without it, so It's not often we see a rush Silver Edge, but this game it does make sense for the DK.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to work out wonders, especially the fact that, I mean, they, you know, it would work well in the Tiny, too, I suppose, like the status resistance, so...
Oh, true. Wow,
I mean,
yeah.
I believe it does.
Huh,
So
that's a good point.
the stuns will have longer duration. You will just keep them down. That's where Shadow Demon comes into play, and I'm surprised he's actually not maxing the disruption, so you have the lower cooldown of that. His fights are going to be generally long and drawn out because they're both very tanky on both sides. Heals from Omni Knight, just strength heroes in general. Same thing with the Radiant team disruptions. Sand Kings are hard to kill. 2 strength heroes as their cores. So I'm actually really surprised that the Shadow Demon hasn't maxed disruption just yet. But looks like he's going back for that now.
Yeah, I've played a fair amount of Shadow Demon with the more recent patches here, and I'll say leveling up that poison first does feel so good because you can actually do so much damage. Your farming potential obviously goes up. Now I'm talking about pub status at an Archon level, of course. Now when it's a little bit different when you're in a tournament environment and trying to win these games, and I do feel like Shadow Demons that we happen to see kind of go the build that you're suggesting, the more leveling up that disruption first, if anything, for the saving tool that it brings to the table. So maybe it goes back to the mentality that Infamous has, but Beastmaster gonna run into the Earth Spirit as the disruption comes out. The Primal Roar on top, but that Witch Doctor's nearby to help. They're really not finishing off Fade though. Even with the Shadow Demon Purge, now here comes DK. It's like they knew that was a trap all along. Eventually gets there, although they picked up Omni Knight elsewhere, so a couple of different fights happening at the same time. Advantage Infamous, actually.
Yeah, definitely Omni's a bigger kill than the Shadow Demon. I'm surprised he actually roared the guy they were going on, not the Witch Doctor, to stop him from stunning and whatnot. But nonetheless, definitely a fine trade there for Infamous. I'm wondering what the... Okay, he actually went Lotus Orb first on the Timbersaw to maybe bring the coconuts back to them, or unsilence himself, or stop the stun from DK. Doesn't feel like your typical Lotus Orb game, but it does give him some extra like base armor, because it does require a plate mail in the composition of that item, so I guess it's fine. I would have liked to see maybe Blink, just so he can just be a little bit more aggressive and accurate with his spells, but and he's going to need a Blink for sure, and he's definitely going to need a Shiva's. He might even just go Shiva's next, to just give himself more tanky, and it's just, yeah, he's actually already queued it up just now.
Ooh, middle lane. No, he gets back in time. How about going back to Stinger? You mentioned the idea of the skill build. He actually did end up maxing out Call of the Wild. It only went to 3 in Wild Access, so there's that. But look at his item build. Tranquil Boots into a helm with a Dominator. I find that unique.
I find it unique, too, against a Witch Doctor that stuns your creeps for much longer. So, I don't know. I'm not really a fan of it. I like, especially when he's behind so far, like, I would have preferred a Blink Dagger just to start that initiation, maybe on the Omni, who's sitting in the back. But we'll see. Here we go. Smoked up. Lapita is not smoked up as he's frontlining, but they're going to be like, why is he running at us? And they actually starting to back off. And that's kind of weird.
Oh, they catch Phantom Lancer. Doppelganger. He got it away, and then here comes Omni Knight. Remember that Guardian Angel is also ready to Lotus Orb put up on Tiny. However, his teammates falling around him, as well as the Sand King. Primal Roar will stop, but it's retreat time for Infamous, clearly. That initiation did not go as planned. The counter stun happened. He got off the Doppelganger, then the turn started.
Yeah, you can't really be smoked and like have the non-smoke guy just run at you like nothing's gonna like that was just very awkward. Like the Jag was clearly up. Maybe if he was like sitting in lane farming naturally, but he was like running through the woods, so it was very obvious that something weird was happening, and VGJ responded correctly. And now they're gonna respond with a Roshan kill. With Sand King being dead, he's reviving right now. They know that they're in there, but can they fight is the question. And I don't think you can fight with an Omni ready to go. Still a Dragon form up on the Sylar. They're going to try, though.
Sand King's not TPing in. His TP's ready. If they wanted to fight, he could have TP'd in there a lot sooner, but I don't know if that was miscommunication or just they never really intended to stop that. But
yeah, I think they were maybe going to try to disrupt it if they could with Timbersaw spells, but didn't really have intention to actually fight around there again. It's scary fighting around in enclosed areas with Omni Knight.
Yeah.
One of the problems with Omni Knight is making the team fight you. Usually teams will kind of play their cards, split a little bit, but around Roshan, it's kind of like you're forcing the enemy team to make a decision. And I guess to hear like Omni Knight or Darkseer, where you want to find these close engagement fights, it's just difficult to find the right engagement.
Heals pick up for the Omni Knight, so a nice defensive tool there. A good purge in itself. Perhaps against something like the Shadow Demon, and Just all around what it brings to the table for him, as well as a Hooded Defiance, in fact, which he's actually going to build that into a full pipe next as well. And this is a very good pipe game.
Very good. It's really feels bad, man, if you're playing the Sand King, because like a pipe comes out and you just feel useless, especially when you're behind, because you're basically like your epicenter doesn't really do anything, so you're basically a stun. You have to blink in, maybe get a double stun, run away, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
And it's not like your stun's really doing damage, just kind of keeping people there. So I've seen this a number of times today. Actually, I was casting a game earlier and same situation where Sand King was up against heroes with tons of magic resistance and just very tanky, and then a pipe on top of that. It just really doesn't feel like Sand King has much to do.
Yeah, you were casting that game 3 of Complexity Animal Planet, man. Oh, that was...
Oh, boy.
That was quite the finish.
And from what I can tell, Animal Planet's ready to 3-0 the series against Optic.
Oh, they were up 2-0. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That would be, yeah, that team's looking good, man. They formed, and shortly after, they're qualifying possibly. That'd be good for them. Anyways, we're not casting that. We're casting this. We got Infamous versus VGJ.Thunder, and speaking of that, VGJ.Thunder going with the smoke, and they're going to find the Sand King. That poor Sand King, as you're just referring to. So maybe not the best kill that they could ask for, but it's a kill. And they'll take it for now. With Tiny going elsewhere. BKB finished on Dragonite, by the way, so that's a full 10 seconds. Tiny's trying to finish his own. Not just yet, though.
I don't know if I really like the BKB. I mean, they already have a repel. I guess he's scared of the Shadow Demon, but I would have preferred to see a more team fight item like an Assault Cuirass, but I guess he really just wants to get a spell. So I mean, if they didn't have the Shadow Demon, I'd say 100% do not get the BKB.
Yeah.
This makes a little more sense, I guess. You can't rely solely on the repel in these fights.
VGJ.Thunder playing pretty aggressive now. Dragonite, again, with that BKB, and obviously you also have Phantom Lancer with the Aegis, with also Manta style finish. It's going to be Burrow Strike, but just simply trying to harass and delay this top push that they're doing right now. So I'm going to try to go in for the Tier 2 tower. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Tier 2 tower being pushed in by Tiny, actually, so he could get a response to VGJ.Thunder.
With how much map control VGJ has, it's crazy that it's only a 1k gold lead for them. Infamous is doing a really good job of splitting, and their cores are farming very, very fast, namely the Timbersaw and the Tiny. They're just really racking up the farm, so they're doing a good job about staying in the game in terms of the metrics and the gold. In fact, they have a slight lead. Actually, it's juggling back and forth between 500 gold or so really nothing at all. But VGJ do have a, I think, stronger late game. Soku, he's initiated 1-2 punch, and he's dead.
Oh, Tiny trying to get there for a response, but it could cost his own life now. The Maledict's put up. The Death Ward doing some damage. That's going to be enough. Tiny, no chance of getting out. Maledict took him down. If anything, meanwhile, back over here, Shiva's going to be popped by the Timbersaw. They were able to finish off Witch Doctor, but at what cost out for them? Sand King, he will melt as well. Phantom Lancer joining the party late. Now going to put the Purge on the Timbersaw. He had the Lotus Orb up, but it's not going to be enough, most likely. Sand King will fight back. He is tanky. Holy crap. And actually, he's going to survive for the time being. All that armor, he turns, kills Omni Knight, and he's still alive, in fact, going back in. Phantom Lancer getting low himself. Of course, he does have the Aegis, so even if he falls right here, which he will. Dragon Knight, though, at half-life. Not most mana. His Elder Dragon form is going to be wearing off soon. VGJ.Thunder has to retreat it. So when I was kind of calling the fight early right there, but holy crap, Timbersaw. Finishing that Shiva's was clutch.
Oh, he wants to come back in. He has the shot. He has the Silver Edge. He can maybe get a good initiation. Oh, very nicely timed Lotus Orb right before he stunned him. I'm not sure if he knew he was in the area. Nonetheless, Soku falls to the initiation of PL.
Yeah.
Sylar in a little bit of trouble. This could be bad if he dies. He has the gem. Nice push out by Faye.
Wow.
There is no roar for 15 seconds, but the Yule stops him in his tracks. And they might get the kill. There's no dust. Oh, just gets the Silver Edge away. That would have been a massive kill.
Oh, man. Obviously, you can't really blame them for not having dust there with those two heroes. By the way, Kama comes back in, takes out Stinger, but look at this. Tiny, he wants to finish off Phantom Lancer now, but he needs to be careful once again. Over to the side, Io does go down playing that Witch Doctor. Who's that coming from the side? That would be the Earth Spirit. Boulder Smash, nope, not going to hit, and I think the fight finally coming to a conclusion now. Wow, close calls. And I got to give definitely props to Fade, though, on the Earth Spirit. That was a hell of a kick on the DK. With what it was around to save
I think what happened, like, Pepita was just trying to casually Lotus Orb the PL Lance. Like, I don't think they don't have any vision here of sentries, or with sentries, to view the Invis DK when he was coming in to make that initiation. He just happened to Lotus Orb himself right before the stun. I don't even think that was his intention, but had he not done that, he would have really taken a lot of damage with that debuff. So now the one thing I can say is that even if they do get the debuff with the reactive armor from the Silver Edge, he still has a lot of natural armor.
He does.
Look, he only has 4 reactive armor charges, and he's still sitting at 36 armor with his Lotus Orb and his Shiva. So the Silver Edge is really not going to have the same effectiveness because of how Pepita has built it.
Yeah, he essentially has about 30 armor without reactive armor right now. So that is tons to work with. So, and obviously we saw the perfect example. So I guess that leads into now, what's the answer to him? Is magic damage right? I mean, Ethereal Blade, is that something we're thinking about here if you're Thunder or
first
what?
thing you have to do is ignore him because you can't really silence him. He's got the Lotus Orb to get rid of that. Just straight up going on him, he's just way too tanky, and you have disruption to worry about, so you have to first ignore him and then think about, I would say Maelstrom onto the DK if he can. But he probably won't. He probably wants to get that Assault Caress. It's just better for his team. So you just have to play around him and ignore him, and you try and go in the back line, the Shadow Demon or the other heroes first.
Yeah, they do have Maledict to take advantage of as well, so if they get a good Maledict off and able to follow it up with some decent damage, then that could be the way to finish him off. But yeah, as you put it, just ignore him. Kill the supporting cast and then deal with him after the fact. But definitely easier said than done. Timbersaw also taking advantage of that level 10 talent. He's level 23 as a result, and going to be 25 by far the first one in the game. And so what did Timbersaws usually get, dude? Do we know what they usually get? I mean, the 1400 Timber Chain range is pretty ridiculous. But
yeah, it is.
Rolling Death against this team is also pretty good. So I don't know. I don't know what we should expect.
I'm not that much of a Timbersaw player, so I don't know. It really depends on the game, and that's how talent should be. It shouldn't be just be you go this every time. It should be what's going to help me out in this situation more. Maybe if he's down and he feels like he needs to cover more ground, like cover more area on the map faster to get to and fro, like maybe he gets the Timber Chain range just to move around faster. Oh, here they go.
Oh, they stop him. That's a perfect start. Witch Doctor, Maledict's up. This is the chance they were looking for, and they're going to take him out. So at least they kill him. He did suicide, but down to 13 Bloodstone charges. That is key if you're VGJ.Thunder here.
I don't even think he actually got the Silver Edge because I think he was just like scared of him Timber Chaining away, so he just quickly stunned. I'm not quite sure, but I tried to look for the Silver Edge debuff and I couldn't find it.
That's possible.
Either way, they killed him.
Well, I think at that point he wouldn't have had reactive armor charges, so yeah, he still dropped pretty fast. Anyways,
exactly.
Didn't really matter. All right, Roshan, he's not up though. It's going to be a fairly longer respawn. We still got about 2 minutes now before he is up, so Thunder will instead clear out resources. You have Phantom Lancer, of course, is going to get deadlier throughout the game. He finished his heart, and it's going to look to go the bots next at least, but wonder what damage he's going to be looking for. Follow that up. Oop, Doppelganger's away. And we'll send in the illusions. There's a Shiva to try to help clear them out. Nice Lotus Orb reflect. Oh, that's a Timbersaw illusion. Nice. Well, they're kind of duking it out here in the middle lane, but I don't think a fight's ultimately going to come from this. More so saying hello, but yeah, the game of Roshan, I'm sure as soon as he's up in about a minute and a half or so at this point, will be pretty key for both teams. Keep an eye on Dragon Knight. He went an Orchid. Okay, Orchid finish now.
Huh, all right.
So Bloodthorn coming, I guess. You pretty much expect that. So
certainly benefits from the damage and the attack speed and all that. It's just another way to, after the Lotus Orb subsides, he can keep the Timbersaw down and stop him from casting spells, or anybody, It's not like he has to cast on him, but just gives him that option. Definitely didn't see that coming. I'm just really surprised not to see him working towards an AC. It's so good on his team, and it's so good for the Dragon Knight. So I'm a bit surprised to not see that, to be honest, but we'll see how he makes this work.
Tiny's still looking at that 10-second BKB himself. Oh, that's actually kind of true. Earth Spirit's Spirit Vessel picked up in that. I assume it works against like the reactive armor, the regen part at least, not the armor, of course, but the regen. And ooh, they're gonna catch him again. Silver Edge open. Opens with a Dragon Tail. Again, I don't even know if the Silver Edge is up, but it just doesn't matter. Okay, it was up for sure. He just melts. It's completely different than what we've seen in the previous fights. So he's there for 45 seconds. Not going to be buyback. BKB, though, with the cleave auto attacks. A Promeroy on the backline. It's onto or that's Omninet, actually. They got him killed, but you see TK. He's just not even scared. The BKB up himself, going toe-to-toe with the Tiny. Pretty easy. Breathe fire on top of that Phantom Lancer. He's joining the party late, but he is here now, and he's going to be deadly. Going right after Tiny. Tiny melts, and the two big cores of Infamous are already dead. Beastmaster, that ain't going to work. He gets Dragon Tail stunned, and that's going to be a 3-for-1 fight in favor of Thunder, as they're going to head bottom now on top of it. So, yeah, kill the Timbersaw, win the fight.
You know, I didn't even think about this because Timbersaw was picked up very last, but his Maledict is doing a lot of work against him too. It's typically just a great hero or a great ability against very tanky strength heroes, which is exactly what Timbersaw is. So definitely worked out there. He was stunned for a long time in that engagement too, but they chained their stuns really nicely together. Definitely did enough damage to get the kill.
He does have an axe now, so the double chakram to be used by Pepita. They catch PL.
Nice stun from Earth.
Gonna doppelganger though. Yeah, the boulder smash pretty clutch once again. Fade is getting low, however, so he ends up going down himself. But Sylar gonna be chased down. Whirling Death on top of him. He melts. Phantom Lancer trying to help, but that's a gem drop with that kill even. So yeah, Sand King picks it up and walks away, and it is a hold, at least for Infamous. No buybacks necessary there, and he's still chasing.
Yep, he's got he actually went for the Timber Chain, so moving all over the place.
Wow, yeah, that is that's some fun riding now for the Timbersaw. And the double chakram definitely helping there as well, as he just got the axe. So, but yeah, kind of going back to that point, it's like clearly, again, the matchup, they just felt that it outweighed the idea of, sure, you're going up against a Maledict on the other side, it hurts him, but so good against Phantom Lancer and the DK even, and it has worked out so far, to be fair. But, yeah, we are seeing examples of the Maledict from the Witch Doctor. Oh, they're going to try to steal Roshan. I don't know if they're going to get it, though. This is definitely going to be
actually kind of low on mana. He's really low on mana. He can't cast too many spells here. And when you got an Axe Scepter, you burn through that mana real fast. So you got to be a little bit careful. Starting to regen now.
Kama, he's feeling cozy. He just runs right in, but of course he's got plenty of support. And what is that? Yeah, they catch. Okay, they catch the Earth Spirit. They sneak up on him. And that might be, I mean, Dragon Knight's up now. Banish, who do they catch there? That's the Phantom Lancer, actually. In comes the Epicenter on top, and then the Repel's put up. Phantom Lancer, can he maybe doppelganger over the ledge? Yes, he can. Dragon Knight, he's going to get in the fight pretty late. The Elder Dragon form activated, going to be able to drop Sand King. Buyback on Omni Knight, by the way. Phantom Lancer goes down, though, 85 seconds. He's going to be dead for no buyback on him. BKB is going to be wearing off Sylar. In comes the Guardian Angel, though, but against like Timbersaw, he doesn't really care too much about that. Purification heal on top, but there's a toss in the air. Guardian Angel going to be wearing off soon. And the Repel is put up, though, so Sylar, he's still feeling pretty cozy. Chasing after Tiny. Meanwhile, Omni Knight, that's going to be a dieback on him. The double chakram on top of the Beastmaster minions. He will fall. Tiny does go down to the Dragon Knight, though, up here. But you see Timbersaw, he is not afraid to chase right now. But yeah, Dragon Knight doing a good job focusing the supporting cast. Buyback on a Sand King. It turns his attention to Beastmaster. Going to be disruption, though. Look at the damage from Timbersaw. The chakram on top, and down goes DK. He's dead for 85. And Infamous has a big opening now. They are down the Tiny, but they're going to push tier 3 top.
Was that a... Oh, no. PL didn't even have... he doesn't have money for a buyback. No. It's 100 gold away. Oh, no. Also, with the DK illusion from Shadow Demon, that's going to pump out some damage onto this as well.
Oh, true.
A little bit. So, there we go. Just like that, looks like they're going to take a lane of Rax at least. They can't get more than this. Maybe go back to Roche, because there is a tier 2 in mid, and I don't suspect they go all the way bottom. They're pretty greedy, so look at a set of Rax, maybe a Roche, maybe a Shrine, but very, very nice team fight for Infamous, and Pepita is just doing tons of work on this Timbersaw.
Yeah, I have not seen this dominant of a Timbersaw game, man, and I almost want to say, not ever, but it's definitely been a long time, and we do not see it this often, that's for sure. He is, but again, the matchups against the cores on the other side, he is very good. And that's why they final picked it.
Sylar's what he's targeting in these fights. I mean, he really stuck to that Tiny the entire time. Now, he did finally kill him, but put himself in a bad position as a result, and he had literally a Shadow Demon and a Beastmaster kind of running in circles around him, and he could have been attacking them the whole time, but he just stuck on that Tiny the whole time. I don't think that's the right approach, especially when Tiny gets rid of these stuns quickly. He gets rid of even the slow quickly. I think you go for these like very important yet very easy to kill support heroes. So maybe his targeting is just not quite there, but yeah, I think he's got to be a bit more careful about who he targets.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about Phantom Lancer's builds now. The queue up of the Butterfly, is that really the best? Because honestly, BKB, it seems really strong this game. Especially dealing with that Timbersaw.
I think you have to go Butter. I just think Butterfly is just the best item you can get on any illusion-based hero that really relies on those illusions. It just pumps up the damage so much.
Yeah.
So I think he has to go for that, but maybe think about BKB later. But I talked about this earlier, but I'm not a fan of like the heart on PL. I know it's such a staple item and it sounds crazy, but I just think, oh, here we go. Hold that thought. Tiny in some trouble. Does have an Aegis, so he'll have a second life plus a BKB as he falls. Here we go. BKB ready on everybody. Sylar, he's got his ulti as well. Oh, there's an Arcane Rune there too. He gets it.
He picked it up. He already has Elder Dragon 4, though. BKB going to be wearing off a Tiny now. Primal Roar will keep the BKB Dragon Knight in place. Timbersaw is looking to go in for the Phantom Lancer. Throws out the Chakram. At least one of them, but they find the Shadow Demon eventually, and he goes down. Son of the BKB wearing off, but he's still chasing after Tiny. Has that focus on it. Omni Knight still well alive as Sand King goes the other way. Trying to kite them away. Yang in pursuit over here. Catching up to the Timbersaw. If they manage to kill him. Oh, man, he eats the cheese. He's going to survive for now. He might have to kill himself, though. He takes at least Zero Spirit with him. Pops a Lotus Orb. That Maledict, if anything, though, it's going to do plenty. Another break coming out, and he will be dead for 50. He does have a buyback. Look at the middle lane, though. What's Tiny doing? He is trying to push the Tier 3 tower. He is going to get caught, however. And he would not have a buyback.
That's a bit of a throw right there. At least the Tiny getting caught out right there. That Arcane Rune, it seems crazy, but it actually makes such a huge difference for a hero like Dragon Knight, who has so many abilities with already low cooldowns. Your Silver Edge, your BKB, your Bloodthorn, stuns multiple times in teamfights. So it actually made a huge difference in that fight. But Tiny dying there, that's a big one. I mean, I think they would have been fine with what happened if Tiny hadn't died there, but definitely not a good way to end the team fight.
Yeah, definitely one of those kind of forehead smacks like, oh boy, well, what were you thinking? And he's dead for 50, so Timbersaw is going to be back up, and yes, he can do plenty himself as we've seen. But can he do enough to keep them from getting too much here? They're at least going to get the Tier 2. That's honestly probably it. Yeah, they're going to fall back after this, I'm sure. Don't think they're going to be comfortable pushing Tier 3 just yet. So maybe the Tiny Death. God, did you see that damage, man? Sylar just went to half life all of a sudden from a couple of chakrams of Timbersaw. But top lane is being pushed in by Phantom Lancer. He's going to have enough gold for the Butterfly. You talked about the offensive power that it brings especially is really good by him.
CP coming in from Beastmaster. He wants to set something up.
Oh, they catch DK. Can he be saved by Omni Knight? Nice Primal Roar onto the Omni Knight. Timbersaw trying to finish him off in the meantime. It's not going to be enough damage, though. He puts a repel on himself, and now Timbersaw's the one that has to be careful. Remember, he would have a buyback. Guardian Angel will be coming out on top of that, and they indeed do kill the Timbersaw. He has the buyback as mentioned. Tiny is up, but it's just him and the Beastmaster for the time being. They got caught chasing a little bit too much. And speaking of that, Beastmaster, he's going to be chased down. Omni Knight sitting next to him with that level 4 Degen aura, if anything. Earth Spirit caught him as well. And they're going to finish off the Beastmaster. There's the buyback on Timbersaw, but plenty of damage already done by VGJ.Thunder.
Tiny's trying to split push in the mid lanes, maybe forcing one or two heroes back. But with no buyback on Sand King, no buyback on either support, really. They do have a buyback on the Beastmaster. He will use it now. No Roar for 25. One set of Rex here for VGJ. Perhaps a second. Tiny trying to do his best to split. He's doing that.
He's committed. He doesn't have a TP.
He does not.
So,
but DK does TP back, so that's going to be the end of the push there for VG. Jeez, look at that Timber Chain. Like 4 screens.
It's pretty ridiculous again. Yeah, 1400 range. Or, yeah, 1400.
He's going to grab an Illusion Rune. And he did that. He was pumping out damage without Butterfly. Imagine what he's going to do once he gets it, and he does have enough.
Well, again,
and then probably buyback after that, too.
Again, the key is if they're able to kill the Timbersaw. Like when Timbersaw's in the fight, Phantom Lancer becomes very weak because his illusions obviously melt to the Timbersaw chakrams and the Whirling Death and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they pick off a Timbersaw like that, then yeah, he has free reign and will do plenty of damage within the fights. And there's the Butterfly. Indeed, finished in full. And as you mentioned, has the buyback on top of that. So he is feeling very cozy right now. As, once again, is VGJ.Thunder. Take a look at the graph. Wow, that's a bit of a... Got to the dip here on the roller coaster.
Wow,
Went up and went right down.
Double damage.
For VGJ.Thunder.
That is nuts. And then PL's going to go for the Scotty. I approve of that. I really like Scotty on PL. I was saying earlier, I think I prefer the Scotty to the Heart, but it looks like he's getting both.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, so then he'll just have lots of HP, which is obviously great against the Timbersaw. Here we go. Scouting things out. Fade, looking for an initiation. Blinks forward. Doesn't get the stun.
Yeah, it's tiny. It's not like that actually will stun him anyways. Oops, Sand King. He's trying to get away. Pearl Strike. Has a blink. He's good. He is just fine. Levels, more level 25s, by the way. Phantom Lancer, level 25 with him is huge. The crit, of course. People have been, like, it feels like this is one of the more ridiculous 25s recently. Because we see Phantom Lancer so much, too. And the fact that he gets it there at a pretty good timing compared to, you know, everyone else in the game. It's a lot. I mean, yeah, you see the crits coming out from that talent. So he's taking advantage of that. And Dragonite also 25, and that means 40 strength. And he has now. On top of it, so the 25s are very impactful, no doubt, here in this game. Tiny's almost there himself. Get some toss charges up in here.
That's really
Radiant's
annoying.
bottom shrine is under attack.
What's the 12 seconds? So you're looking at a 5-second avalanche cooldown if you do the other one?
Yeah.
Nice, too.
That is pretty good, actually.
But the toss is like, if you catch
Radiant's
someone out,
bottom
they
shrine
will die.
has fallen.
They can't cast anything. It's very annoying. But the likelihood of some of them getting caught out and these kind of heroes by themselves for that long, length of time is very unlikely. So, not even sure if that's going to be worth it at this point. I think you might just want to get the avalanche cooldown.
Beastmaster's been really continuing just the utility. Never ended up going like a blink. Instead, he went the Eels and now the Solar Crest.
Yeah.
He
I
has
like
a
the
Ghost
Yules,
out
I
there.
like the Solar Crest, but I just still feel like the Summon the Dominator doesn't really do that much for him. Especially considering he got it so late.
Just what I've been waiting.
I'm really surprised we're not seeing a blink on him, at least, or even a 4-staff at this point. He's got 4,300 to spend, might as well spend it.
There's a random gem right over here. It's just sitting on the ground at this pink spot. That's hilarious. Anyways.
Yeah, why is he... I'm really curious why he's not spending... Like, okay, they're at 17,000 gold down. Him not spending his 4,300 is basically like them being at
20,000
22,000.
plus.
Radiant's
yeah.
top shrine is under attack.
I mean, spend your gold, man.
Dire's top shrine is under
Nah,
attack.
he's good. Likes to invest, likes to save up.
Radiant's top shrine
for the time
has
being.
fallen.
One of those people. Those responsible people.
Yeah, right. Arcane Root on Dragonite, and I think he actually activated Elder Dragon form with it, so yeah, it's going to be
Dire's top shrine is under
resetting
attack.
pretty quickly once it does wear off right here. And wow, he's actually, so he has a Blood Thorn. Now he's going to go a full Daedalus on top of that, so if DK was ever lacking damage this game, that's definitely not the case now.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
All right, they're going to get the second range racks, maybe not, as Chakrams, double Chakrams coming out,
Dire's
but
top
the
shrine
stun did
is
not
under
hit.
attack.
Good job helping out the DK. 20 more seconds, he'll have another Elder Dragon form ready to go here. And 20 seconds, Roshan's up actually, so we'll see if they maybe fall back for that eventually, but
He's also got a Daedalus on the way, so maybe he
Dire's
wants to
top
wait for that.
shrine is under
Jeez.
attack.
He's got Repel plus a
Yeah.
Lincoln onto him. They'll
What
get
do you
this, I
do?
think, wait for his Daedalus, maybe go for Roche, and then come back for the final rack, spot him.
oh, did they catch a Timbersaw out? Nice Pro Strike on the back lines. Timbersaw forced away. He's good for the time being. Sand King, of course, will die. Promaror. Where'd it go off? It looks like it hit GK, but that was just simply defensive, just trying to keep them from going too deep into their base. The open on a Tiny after the side as he gets the break effect on him as well. The Eel Scepter throws him up in the air, stops some damage, pops his own BKB though. Tiny, realizing that he has to fight this Guardian Angel, pop though, and Tiny, he's just going to melt away 8-9 seconds. He's going to be dead for Timbersaw. He's going to be sitting on top of actually the DK, but losing out of mana. He gets stunned with the Timber Chain. He cannot use it. 95 seconds, dead for, and indeed the GG is called by Infamous. That was a game, man. I mean, both sides, we had some swings.
Dire victory.
Infamous
Yeah.
even looked like there was a possibility there after that Roshan fight, but wasn't to be.
Yeah, I mean, Pepita did some work on that Timber, but unfortunately, I mean, if you look at the draft alone, you're like, well, what happens if we get into the late game? Like, Tiny is just really not that much of a core on his own. Like, you kind of need someone else. And certainly Timbersaw did work, but they had no one to really, like, carry with physical damage enough. Just wasn't enough from Tiny. He was just getting kited or stunned too much and what have you, which is crazy to think when you have amazing status resistance. But this Omni Knight did so much work. Like, when you have allies that have that much farm, Omni Knight just like makes him so much stronger in his team. So really nice draft by VGJ.Thunder. Nicely played by some of the members of Infamous, though. I mean, namely Pepita. A little bit weird to see Beastmaster not. Did he actually spend his gold at the end there? I'm not quite sure.
I honestly didn't
Like,
know.
he was sitting on 5K.
Well, he did get a blink, it looks like. So
he finally got a blink and a bots. That's kind of weird. Something weird to spend when you have that much gold, but whatever. Maybe a Vlad's would have been a bit of a different thing. I mean, Vlad's would have been nice for Tiny because he already has such high base damage. But anyway.
Yeah, it was an effort from Infamous that, as you mentioned, especially from Pepita. It was fun to watch him and play very well in the Timbersaw, and matched up decent against the other cores, and that showed at points. But ultimately, VGJ.Thunder too strong. That first pick, Omni Knight, once again very popular in the China region especially, and they too like to do that. So that's a hero I could see on the ban phase in the initial bans coming into game number 2. We'll see if Infamous agrees, but we are going to take a short break, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Game number 2 coming up. Infamous versus VGJ.Thunder. I'm BreakyCPK, joined by TraLF. We'll be right back here for the Galaxy Battles 2 event.